Where did this come? Hi, Jared.
Hello.
Welcome to
We
week 13.
only
I am
a
so
couple
sad it's
left.
almost over.
I know it's been good. It's
Been
been
good.
entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about last week. We
Yeah.
can
What
always
do we got?
talk about the positives, which I think, having gone to the BYU game, that was a bit of a sigh of relief. Like, okay, a
Man,
complete game. Thank you.
start to
Yes.
finish, relax, easy to watch, like,
Yes.
oh, all right. Like it feels like every game is like stressful. It's nice to just be like, hey, this is nice. Good job,
Mhm.
guys. Dude.
Yeah. Jared was, I remember you being nervous, and I remember texting you at the game, like, are you okay now? Are you okay now?
Yeah.
And you were like, I don't know. I don't know. We'll
Well, so that was
see.
first quarter. I was like,
Yeah,
hey, we've
exactly.
we've had problems before.
Yeah.
And even just following other scores, it's like, all right, my upset's winning, or cool, they're winning, and then it's like, no, they come back like Texas A&M, where it's
Oof.
like you thought, oh man, there's no way, and then
Yeah.
they come back and win. So
It's
you
the
never
Indiana
know.
win from the week before, and I feel a little bad for Texas A&M because they didn't get the glory that Indiana seemed to have got, like their Heisman moment. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Where I was like, but that was also pretty amazing. 27 points behind.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but at least I like that they're like, we shouldn't have even been there in the first place. I was like, yeah. I mean, that's not a
That's true.
complete game. The opposite of
Right,
what I saw. But
right.
and then
Yeah,
Cincinnati, poor Cincinnati.
for Cincinnati,
I mean, I'm a little happy about going into this week with that, but still,
helps us. And then Pitt just couldn't. We all knew Pitt couldn't pull it together
no.
against Notre Dame because Notre Dame has a soft schedule. So
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll rant a little bit more about them, but some of these comparison things I've sent you, it's just like, and now they're bringing in Oregon, who I didn't really realize. It's like, oh, yeah, Oregon, their
Yeah.
best win is 6-4 Iowa. So, but they're
Yeah.
still getting credit for their Penn State win, which is
Yeah.
like, what? You can't do that.
I
That
was like,
that
can we get credit for our Iowa State win? I mean, like, could it be the
any
same
any
where it was
win.
supposed to be a big team, but it wasn't? So can
Yeah,
we, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so that was crazy.
Alabama
Texas
lost.
lost.
Yeah,
Alabama, come on, guys. Like
I was shocked actually.
I was. So that just murkies the water for the
Well,
playoff.
and then it
But
starts this whole narrative of like the shifting of guards where okay, Oklahoma's higher, but Alabama's not out of it. Of course not. We don't want to take them out of the top
right, we
10.
don't want to take
Like,
Alabama
ooh,
out.
let's not be
Yeah,
too crazy. But at the same time,
exactly.
I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm bothered because I remember being like, does Oklahoma State pass the test now? And I think you were like, because
They're
the thing is, I'm like, I think the bigger question was like, okay, who's bad here? I mean, it's
right.
not even necessarily who's good. It's are they? I don't know. It's
The
confusing.
the thing is too about the SEC. I know they're parity. We're the strongest league. Blah blah blah. Like now they're saying parity. But I think Andrew sent me this thing. He's like, I don't know who this guy was. It was on Instagram. He's just like, no one wants to see a full SEC playoff. SEC country wants to see a full SEC
Yeah,
playoff and Big
I
Ten.
don't want to watch
But
that.
for normal fans, they don't want six SEC teams and
No,
five Big Ten teams. Like,
no.
you don't want that. Like,
Well,
it's,
let's even say they might be like, for argument's sake, probably some of the best.
mhm,
There has to be a cap,
there has to be a cap. Yeah.
and because it's just like, well, then it's not fair that this one conference seems to be so, let's say, top heavy, which is kind of, I don't know, we'll see. But like, let's say they have a lot of good teams. Well, then win your conference. I mean, like,
Right.
it's like it doesn't place any value on winning the SEC or even going to the SEC conference because it's
Yeah.
like,
You're going to get in anyway.
you're gonna get it anyway. Like, I'd rather be the one like Alabama that doesn't have to play. And they're
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
cool,
exactly.
we'll just wait for the playoff. Because now I'm like,
Exactly.
it's kind of incentivizing non-conference playoff play for
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
conferences. Others,
Yeah.
it's like we have to get like BYU, it's like either if we don't play it, we're probably not gonna go.
Yeah.
And being a one loss team, that's really sad. And so,
Yeah. Well, this other thing Andrew sent me was the same guy. He's like, no conference should have more than four, and
yes,
no Power Four conference should have less
less
than
than
two,
two. I agree.
which totally on board. Now, the thing is, like, if like the ACC this year, it's like you
Mhm.
probably shouldn't be getting two. It's like, but you get your one, and maybe next year you get two. or whatever
Let's
you get
even
three.
give them two. I mean, how different is that than adding a group of five team? I mean,
Yeah,
like, because it's kind of what they've been. And also, I guess I didn't realize this, but I didn't realize, and maybe I'm wrong, I heard it from somebody. Notre Dame's in the ACC basketball con, so they're
yeah,
independent as a football, but
right.
they're
Everything
part of
else is
the
ACC.
ACC. Like, come
Yeah,
on. So I feel like they need to be part. So technically, two ACC members are getting in if
yeah.
Notre Dame goes. So, I
They
mean, not
should,
really, but kind of. Yeah.
between Notre Dame's cupcake schedule outside those first two games
Mhm.
and not having a conference championship. Now I know they claim you don't get hurt if you're in a conference championship, but let's say
But
BYU
yet they do,
goes and
and they
gets
get blown
beat,
out. Hmm.
they're people will
They're
be like,
done.
"Oh, they're done." But it's like, "Wait, but they were in the conference championship." But Notre Dame didn't even go to one. So
Yeah.
like they can't anyway, the resumes for Notre Dame and Oregon, you could pick on some other ones, but those two are like, how are you top eight? That this doesn't make sense. Like even Oklahoma has a better argument now with that Alabama win.
They do.
Like I'm at least giving them a little credit, but
Because
Oregon
they've
has
earned it.
nothing.
I
Yeah,
mean, they earned it. Well, and
Oregon nothing.
it was funny today. I was listening to somebody talk about, they're like, Ohio State's getting ready for this big game and da 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 da. And I was like, and then I just waited. I was like,
Against
who are they even
who?
playing? And they're like, Rutgers. And I just like flat out started laughing in my car because I was like, I'm sorry. No matter how hard you play that, it's not a real game. Like, it's just not. And so they're like, oh,
It's
this one guy on his shoulders, he was the whole running game for, I was like, but, but it just
what is
doesn't
it?
matter.
So
Like,
that
yeah.
either shows that Ohio State and their fans realize they're not as good as they think they are, but by virtue of their schedule, they're undefeated.
Mhm.
Or, and this is probably the more likely, the broadcasters and everyone are trying to sell this game so people will actually watch it
Yeah,
because
because
people realize like
I think viewership's been
Rutgers,
low for Ohio State. Because to be honest,
why
I haven't had
wouldn't
a
it be?
reason since the first week. The first week, I was
Yeah,
like, all right,
first week,
thanks. At
and
least
that's
it's the
it.
only non-cupcake game.
Yeah,
But like since then, I mean, we haven't had them in. Like, were they in the pick'em for the first week? I
they
think
haven't been. Oh, for the first week, I think they were.
they were.
And that's it.
But since then, no. And I think it just goes back to like, who's watching them? Are there fans watch? I'm sure they are, but at the same time, I'm like, if I knew that all of our like we were playing, let's say East Carolina this week. I mean, obviously it's SEC Cupcake Week again,
Uh-huh,
whatever.
yeah,
But
right.
but let's say like we were, I mean, kind of when we were independent, it was hard to be super invested in BYU because they wouldn't play anybody that was kind of worth watching. And
Later in the
granted,
season, especially.
like
Yeah,
at least we have Cincinnati this week, which is a contender. I'm UCF. It's one of those things where I was like, I mean, it'll be nice to see them win,
yeah.
hopefully. But after a while, it's like I don't know. I don't necessarily want to watch my team pummel another team. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like give me an actual challenge. Like I want to see them actually beat, you know,
right.
earn it. So
I'd love to talk to an Ohio State fan that isn't just completely drinking the Kool-Aid and be like, "Do you actually like this? Where you aren't
yeah,
playing
we need
these
to bring Josh on.
interesting games?"
Yeah,
I,
because he was
it,
the one originally that was like, I don't even know if we'll be a good team this year because we lost so many draft recruits and all that kind of stuff. I'd be curious to see where he stands after this year. I mean, the media's been so gracious to them, and it's not
oh, they always
I
are.
right, and I don't think they're a bad team, but I
No,
also it goes back
they
to
haven't
like
been tested
their playoff will be their earning stripes, and
right,
so
which is kind of crazy that
yeah, that they
you
had to
can
wait
get into
until
the
then.
playoff and you didn't like your
Yeah,
hardest game was your first game of the year.
yeah,
Like that's it. That
yeah.
and I think there's some other maybe people will argue, oh no, but we beat this team, beat that. It's like, are they ranked now though? Like, were they
Yeah,
ranked
where
then and
where are they?
they're not ranked now? Like,
Yeah.
and because Ohio State's at the top, like even if they lose one and lose, they could lose two and still be in it just because of one, the bias, but two, they're one and they don't drop people quick unless you're Big 12 ACC. Then they'll
Mhm.
drop you like a rock quickly.
Well, so here's the question. Okay, kind of like your do you want to play them, comparison. Who would you rather play, Indiana or Ohio State?
That's tough. I feel like there's more film, and I've said this before. I still think Indiana should be ranked over Ohio
I
State based
agree.
on their
I'd rather
wins.
play Ohio State, frankly. Not because I don't think they're good, but Indiana has put on some pretty outside of maybe that one comeback win, which I was like, whoa, but
Yeah.
they put on some pretty impressive performances that have made them earn where they're at. And so there's got to be a respect level there.
What's funny is you look at that and it's just like, okay, I kind of know who Indiana is,
Yeah.
but you look at Ohio
Oh,
State and I'm like, I
God.
don't know who you are
Yeah.
because you haven't done anything. Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
have you done?
Well, even the
So
top three, all the
that
undefeateds, who would you choose?
so that's Texas A&M, Indiana. Ooh, not A&M. They've been tested. Like, there's an argument for them to be
Number
one
one. Hmm.
also.
I feel like
Like,
they keep escaping like anybody's real attention. I mean, they're kind of a version of a BYU in a conference where they're like, what else do we have to do? Like,
right. What,
and
yeah.
yeah, and they're like, well, but you haven't played like Alabama and Georgia this season. You haven't played. And it's like, I
But neither
mean,
is Ohio State.
right.
Like,
So,
Ohio State hasn't played an equivalent of that either. So
yeah.
what did they prove?
And
I,
yeah,
I think it's just the proving. Like
yeah,
at this point in the season, there should be something that shows enough proof.
yeah,
And the thing, I think the metric that shows that is that strength of record, but then they don't go by that. The committee doesn't go by that. It's like, well, hold on. Look at the strength of record. Oregon should not be top seven, like
right.
at all, if you
Well,
look at the actual record.
a guy I work with that used to be a BYU football player, he was just like, I started comparing FBS versus CFP because of the objectivity. There's really not that much of a difference. They're not using the stats the way they should.
Right.
And because of, and then if eye test wins out, then what's the difference? It's just more teams. So
Yeah.
they have less margin of error because they can kind of slide a couple more in there. But I was just like, yeah, I mean, there's some truth to that. I don't know.
I heard someone say today we need to go back to the BCS
Oh, BCS
computers.
is what I meant, not
Oh
like
yeah.
BCS. Yeah, he was
Oh,
comparing
he's saying
BCS
it's
and
not
CFP.
very much different.
He's saying they are very pretty, no, pretty
For
similar is what he was
oh,
saying.
interesting.
Because I was
But
like, that's the first time I thought that. I never even thought of that.
yeah, I'd love to see that. But someone was saying go back to the BCS because one of the main arguments with the BCS is we are only going for two teams. But
Mhm.
now it's like now that you have 12
Yeah,
and you get the computers, like it almost needs to be like 80% computer and then some human in it because right now it's just like we don't know what stats they're using, we don't know what they're doing, and then they admittedly say eye test, which I said at the beginning of the season or right before the thing, I'm like, I hate eye test because it's the bias. Like,
yeah,
who cares about eye test? Like, show it. This should be a prove it thing. It should, and
yeah.
if you want to
And
get good, not cupcake games, and make it a prove it thing, well, you have to make it a prove it thing to get better
right.
games.
Well, and if it really is the eye test, then BYU should be pretty much, they should have
It
jumped a
should
few.
be.
They should be in the top 10. And so, like, and then it goes back to the eye test last week. Well, yikes, with Indiana
Right.
and that, yeah, they won and Texas A&M won, but also I mean, they were in 20-point deficits to come back.
Yeah.
So, which is the better game eye test wise? You know, and a lot
Right.
of them are like, oh, but they came back and it was so amazing. It's like, okay, I
But
just,
remember when BYU came back and won
yeah,
double
in
overtime at
Arizona.
Arizona? And
Yeah, I
that
remember
was
that.
bad. That
Yeah,
was bad.
it's
You
not,
don't
it
want
shouldn't
to
have
win
done
like
that.
that. Right.
Yeah.
And Arizona's a better team than probably both of those, than South Carolina and
Yep.
also. So it's just like the double standard, and it's nothing new. It's just a double standard. It's always been this way. I read another quote from someone saying the college football playoffs job is entertainment and making money.
Mhm.
So who has the most eyeballs is not BYU. It is not
Yeah.
uh, Utah. It is not, Texas Tech. It's Oregon. So you want to get Notre Dame in there somehow.
Mhm.
You want to get so there the thing that confuses me about that is what's the AP doing? Like they don't have money in like college football playoff definitely has money in the game for that, but that so I've kind of just had to calm myself down with like BYU is not going to make it because
Mhm.
of this entertainment. Like it's bottom dollar, and they don't view BYU as value, as money added.
Well, I mean, just look at how
So
Vegas has. It was funny. So I was listening to, I think it was Joel Klatt, who was just like, "How is BYU only a 1 point of 1.5 or 2 point whatever it
yeah,
was?" He's like favorite. And I was like, how? Because have you watched them all
Have
year
you
long?
watched the
They've
whole
actually been
season?
not the favorite. They have
Yeah,
been the underdog every single, even though their schedule. So Vegas, even though we had a great game last week, is barely giving us like this much of an edge. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a huge win, and I'm a little nervous about that. But at the same time, it's just like, yeah, I mean, just look at how Vegas treats some of these
right.
teams, and then you'll see kind of where the bias lies because they are playing. Like I think you made a really good point a couple things ago where you said they're playing the human emotion side of this. They're looking for the money. And so some of
Right.
these teams have fan bases that will invest and will pay and yeah.
And
And
not just that, but like they might go off the stats and might go off whatever, but they're still like they realize, hey, what's the historical bias and thought process of BYU? And until they get burned
Mhm.
on something, they're that's what's going to change them. It's the money. Until they get burned money wise, which hey, this year, if people took the points and bet on BYU, it would be interesting to go back because I think BYU outperforms the odds except for the Texas Tech game.
Yeah.
They are outperforming, they're winning
The
when
first
they're
one or
not
two, I
favored.
remember it being like, Kalani, come on, run up the score so you can cover the spread.
Yeah, yeah,
But anyway,
yeah. I'm trying to
because
see when was
obviously
this.
the Arizona game, they didn't cover the spread on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's weird, but it's all I'm like it's money driven. So at this point with BYU, I'm just thinking just win. Let's just enjoy the season. Like
yeah,
I go harken back to when we lost Retzlaff and it was like, let's just get to a bowl game. It's like, cool. We're in a bowl
we
game.
made it. Yeah. So
So
we're
the
good.
next thing is just win these next two games, get to the Big 12 championship game. That's a
And then
feat
we'll
as
take it
well.
to there. Yeah.
And we'll take it to there. And then after that, it's like at
Everything else
least
is
and maybe
frosting.
this is just me looking more like I'm not on all the social media platforms, but at least things are popping up where I'm seeing people like random sites, not just BYU sites, defend BYU. And it's like, well, that's good. That as long as other people
Other
are
people are
seeing it,
seeing it. Yeah.
then great. But the same with AP and college football playoff, for some reason, people don't want to see up and down. And I'm like, I would love to see it more volatile. To be like,
Mhm.
hey, guess what, Ohio State? Your win was crap. And this team beat a really good team. So I'm going to move them ahead of you. You can earn your way back, but
Yeah.
I'm going off of what people did not potential anymore. It's the
Mhm.
whole potential. And that's what the eye test is like, oh,
Mhm.
potential. See,
Mhm.
they look good. They can be good. It's like, but they're not
But until
doing
they
that.
are good, they shouldn't be ranked
They
good.
shouldn't be rewarded. Exactly. They
Yeah.
shouldn't be
Yeah.
rewarded for that. And
Yeah.
if you're a preseason number one, and you're not playing well, you should be dropped immediately. It shouldn't be like, well, until proven guilty. It's like,
Somebody
no.
somebody said you should take preseason as just whatever the numbers were at the end of last season because that's all we know. And I was like,
I'd
that's
be okay
actually,
with
I mean,
that.
probably as accurate as it's gonna be,
Yeah.
you know?
Because otherwise you get Notre Dame. Well, granted, Notre
Yeah.
Dame had a good
Yeah.
year last year, but some years they drop and they're not good and they're in the 24, but then it resets. Let's reset you back top five because
Yeah,
that's where we
just
think it's like, no, you got to start where you
well,
ended.
and it forces them to start really where they were last year because that's what these programs are doing is starting where they were last year. I mean, yeah, they're starting all over again, but I kind of liked that narrative. I think it was Drake Toll that said that, and I was like, I think that's smart because then it goes back to like it doesn't feed bias and you can earn it from wherever
Yeah.
you go from there.
And then
So,
other teams like BYU who finished 13th was not even in the top 25.
right.
And you're like, and guess what? I'm totally fine with like BYU starts at 13 and it's like, oh, you know what? They had a lot of draft picks or they had a lot of this and they lose.
Then
Okay.
you're out. Yeah,
Then you're out. And
then
that's
you're out.
okay. The thing is, I think there's this thing is like, you don't want too much movement. Like, it's like,
Mhm.
no, we can be fluid. But what would end up happening is after that first week, people would just be like, well, I want Notre Dame up here now. And the bias would come in no matter what. So it really, it just, there's no winning until you change the
The
big
system.
bad media machine and everything.
And that's going to be sometime soon, I'm sure. So,
Yeah.
anyway, just all right. Well, I'm going to pull open our picks for this week.
So that was last week's
Yeah.
summary.
Yeah. Ta-da. So here we are with week 13. So we have one difference and it's at the bottom, which I thought was interesting. So it's
Oh,
kind of like take your pick.
yeah.
Um, and And then a lot of these were very similarly crossed over with some small differences. Um, but let's start at the bottom, TCU and Houston. And we can speak a little bit to TCU because I watched them play last week. But I mean,
Yeah.
Houston, didn't they lose to West Virginia? That's their bad loss.
They
So,
lost. Yeah, that's not a great
not
loss.
a
Yeah.
great loss. And let's be honest, TCU had a good loss. I mean, even though it what they lost last week, and it was a bit of a shellacking. But anyway, but they played a really good team. So,
Hmm.
so I don't know. I think this is going to be like, well, it's a inter Texas state team, squabble.
Hmm.
But these are also two teams that are like, I'm really not in the horizon. Houston's like, maybe if some really drastic things happened. But
Yeah.
both of them are kind of on the periphery, so it's kind of like, how hard are they going to try? You know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Does TCU want to bounce back after that? The BYU lost. Is
yeah.
Houston is okay? They kind of got right. They squeaked by UCF
Mhm.
last week or whenever they played 2 weeks ago. Um, Coming off a bye. So it, this is a toss up. I like this one low,
Yeah.
and I don't know who I'm gonna pick either. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think we
one
have
or the
to almost incorporate the literal flip a coin strategy. And
other.
maybe because, that probably has more bearing than our words. But to be honest, if I were to pick right now, I think I would pick home team. So I'd probably go
Yeah,
Houston, but I could go either way. So yeah.
yeah.
Who
See
would you
that.
pick on this one?
Yeah, probably go home team. I mean,
Yeah.
I think TCU they almost beat Iowa State,
Yeah.
killed by BYU. I don't know. Maybe I'll take the Horned Frogs. I think they
Okay.
come back.
Yeah.
They and they do
They lick their
something.
wounds and they want to
Yeah.
do something.
Not and that's not a slight to Houston because I think
No.
they could very well win this game. But
Yeah.
um,
All
yeah,
right, now we're going to talk about some group of five teams. It's funny because I feel like this is the time of year we start to see them on here because they're starting to at least have to be in the conversation, and people are like, all right, so we're getting close to playoffs. These teams are, I mean, a lot of them are like 7-3, although the Southern Miss one, where I was like 7-3 and 3-7. I'm like, really? And
yeah.
yeah, anyway, why are we picking that? But Jacksonville State and Florida International, I really don't know too much about either. I think Jacksonville State's been on there for a week or two. At least I feel like I've seen
Yeah.
them.
I'm
Um,
gonna go Jacksonville State just because they're 6-0 in conference and Florida International's 3-3 in conference.
yeah, it makes
So
sense.
I'm going straight up record, but I
Yeah.
know that's maybe not the best, but
No, I think that's
yeah.
that's pretty good. I think pretty much every strategy agrees with that. So, I think
Yeah.
that's good. Southern Miss, this is the one I was just referencing. I don't even know how much of a discussion this is. If you're 3-7 playing a 7-3 team, sure, home, but come on. So I think
Yeah.
Southern Miss actually takes it. And
I
maybe this is
wonder
one that goes higher. I don't
I
know.
wonder if this is a rivalry game or something too.
Southern Miss
Like,
is, well, Mississippi, Alabama. So this is like the
yeah.
southern versions of both of those teams.
But
Maybe.
yeah, I maybe like this is one of those where it's like I don't know enough to put them at a 10 or a 9,
No.
but based on record, I might creep them up,
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit more.
I agree. What about East Carolina and UTSA?
I mean, East Carolina, BYU played them, so we saw them, and I mean, BYU
They're
beat
pretty good.
them
Yeah.
good, well, but like they were a good team.
Mhm.
So I think again, I'll kind of go off record on this 5-1 East Carolina in conference, 3-3 the Roadrunners in conference. So
And East Carolina beat Memphis last week, which is no small feat. So I'm going to give them some
yeah,
props on that. I don't know what UTSA has done, but 5-5.
UTSA beat Tulane, who Tulane's kind
Oh,
of the
interesting.
hot group of five team at the moment.
Yeah,
So
they're in the conversation. Wouldn't that be
yeah,
interesting if BYU played Tulane in the playoffs?
oh man, or if Jake went to Tulane, gets in the playoff, and BYU doesn't, it's like,
I
oh well, that
know.
worked out.
He's like, well, okay, give me my draft picks, please.
Yeah,
Anyway, yikes. I mean, good for him. Yeah, I
but
think I'd go East Carolina too. Pretty,
yeah, this
yeah.
is interesting though because East Carolina lost to Tulane, UTSA beat Tulane. So there's some of that, but then UTSA has just lost more. So maybe East Carolina got together and they're
Maybe they just had a bad day. Maybe they had
yeah,
injuries. Who knows? Yeah.
who knows? Yep.
Okay, Pitt and Georgia Tech. Why, first of all, why is Pitt still number 22? Oh,
Are
wait, hold
they?
on. No,
No, no,
they're
no.
not. Okay,
Oh,
no, I'm looking at the wrong week. I'm looking at the wrong week. Wait, no, I'm not.
no, they are. They are
What?
that Well, that is weird because they were 22 and lost to
Lost to, they're like,
Notre Dame.
well, but they, it was 37-15. It wasn't
It
even
wasn't even
like,
close. Wait, no, no, no. Okay, that's got to be wrong because I'm looking at the actual game and it doesn't show Pitt ranked anymore, and Georgia Tech's 16.
okay,
Okay, so the Pick'em hasn't updated their
I'm gonna
rankings.
go to
Well, no,
rankings.
but they have because BYU's 11. Pitt they haven't updated. Anyway, I think Georgia Tech should win this. Um, I still wouldn't put it too high, like maybe five,
Right.
six, because I'm a little nervous of Pitt, even though Pitt's wins, like I'm looking at, like they don't have like I mean, Florida State, but that's not a great win anymore. It's
No.
maybe solid. They also lost to West Virginia, Louisville. So
I,
yeah, I think Georgia Tech.
yeah, and I just looked at the rankings. In no ranking are they even listed. So
Oh, okay,
this
that
is
makes
gonna,
sense.
I think, to be honest, we're gonna have to complain to Pick'em to be like, now you threw us because this is not a ranked game. Maybe it's the
Yeah,
ACC being like, shh, it's ranked anyway.
yeah. Shh.
Um, yeah.
But
I
yeah,
like
it'd be
Georgia
good.
Tech. I think Haynes King is I think on a good day, I think he takes it. And it's a home game. And I think it's senior day, so all those things wrapped into it. I think there's that they take it.
Yeah, yeah. The thing with ACC too is like they're not hogging picks. I think they're
Mm-mm.
like, hey, we're gonna get one. We're gonna get the conference champion in, and like
Yeah.
that's it. Like if they can
Although
that large, that's ridiculous.
although this will be interesting. So if Georgia Tech handles Pittsburgh, then it's like, wait a sec, how good is Notre Dame? You know?
They aren't. Record wise, they aren't. Like
Right.
I test, they're the best.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, like I would actually prefer, I would if an ACC school gets in there with BYU being in the top 11,
Yeah.
BYU's in the top 11, and an ACC school is in there, then it gives you one more spot to play with because the group of five, no one in the group of five is getting to number 12. So it's going to knock whoever's 12 out. But
Hmm.
um, anyway, so yeah, Georgia Tech, I think wins. And the thing is, like, if Pitt wins, it's like, okay, well, who's the other ACC team that's gonna, like, there isn't like, these losses don't matter. It's those SEC Big Ten losses that need to happen to help beat the Big 12 out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we can kind of discount. Yeah, I mean like that's why I can clap for them and be like, "Go team," because
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah. So I think they'll do okay. I think it's funny somebody told me that Miami's like in the CFP rankings and stuff, they have Miami there as a placeholder. I was like, "Why? They're not even going to be in the championship game."
right. Yeah,
Like,
like,
why are they a placeholder? Just to make them feel a little bit better.
honestly, what they should do, the two teams in the Power Four that make the championship game, conference championship game, are in the
Yeah.
playoff. If you make your conference championship, you're in, and that's your auto two. And then from there, you get your group of five. And Notre Dame, hey, you're an at-large team because
Yeah.
join a freaking conference. And
Yeah.
then the other ones are so
Yeah.
now that I think about it, that's how it should be done. If
I think
you
so.
make your conference championship, and then from there, if you win it, then you get a better seat. Then from there, you win your
Well,
conference and you get
and
a
then the
higher
conference
seed.
championship can actually be part of the playoffs to some extent. I don't know, maybe.
Could be.
But like it could be a first rounder or something like that. But
Yeah. Or you get
anyway.
your top two teams are in, and then you have an
Eh,
extra week for the third and fourth place team to strengthen their
to,
resume
to
and be kind of that play-in game.
fight for the
Yeah.
at large. Yeah. Yeah, I could do
Yeah.
that. That way
Yeah.
Miami would have a shot. So yeah.
That way, yeah. Well, you're giving more people a shot instead of just like six team SEC. Like remember those
Yeah.
years where I think it was the BCS or maybe it's the four-team playoff where three of the four teams were SEC or both teams were SEC, and it's like okay, but like when it was Alabama, LSU, Alabama, Georgia, it's like
Yeah. It's like, all
yeah,
right.
they're the best teams, but like the intro, I'd love to see the ratings as that went, as Alabama continued to just
Mhm.
dominate. Like, did it actually help or did it hurt? Because I'm sure people got bored of it,
Mhm.
and
Well, if we had like a kind of, I think of the March Madness bracket where there's the four regions or the four ways to progress. Now that's a lot of conferences in those different ways, but why shouldn't that be the power four? And I mean, like, let's reorganize so that there's whatever. But at the same time, it's like, why not have those conferences actually mean something? The playoffs and the incremental like working up the ranks actually means something. And then you guys win your like the last three games of the season, it's like you win your way into the playoffs.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch there too, but all right, let's keep
Yeah,
talking about the ACC with Louisville and SMU. Which another one I'm like ranked
tough,
20? Why?
tough
And then
one.
poor SMU who's like, we've got the same record anyway.
Yeah, yeah, and Louisville's not ranked anymore either.
Yeah.
I'll go SMU on this. What's the sun say? Is it picking SMU?
Yeah, both sides it
I
picks it.
mean, SM in conference, SMU's 5-1, and
Hmm.
what did they
Let's see who
lost?
they
They
lost.
lost Wake Forest. They lost to. I
Wow.
forget about Wake Forest, but Louisville lost to Cal
And
and to
Clemson.
Clemson.
All right.
Clemson's back, baby.
No, they're not. Yeah, no. But it's fun for them to think so and but that's the weirdest thing. Okay, so they lost to Clemson. How are they ranked 20th?
They're not ranked anymore.
Oh, they're not.
This
Okay.
is this is another Pitt issue.
Oh, another error. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better because I was like, what in the world? Yeah, I'd pick SMU on this. Just probably pick the home games for the ACC because I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know. All right, BYU and Cincinnati.
Um, BYU,
Yeah.
but
By
I'm
half.
nervous again, which is good. Like it's funny because when we were going to the Texas Tech game, I was
Mhm.
kind of like, I think we could do this. Like, I think we could do this. And I was like, that doesn't bode well for me when
When
like
you
I
actually have
have
faith.
hope.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think my nerves more come from a road game, and BYU's won some good road games, but it's a road game. It's late in the season, and last year, it's PTSD from last year where
Yep.
you just needed that Kansas game to get into the Big 12 championship game. And,
Don't kill yourself.
starting
Yeah.
slow, and they've
Yeah.
started slow a few times. Like last game, if they can play like they did last week, they blow Cincinnati out of the water.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
can they replicate it? Is the
Yeah.
question.
I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. I listened to somebody talk about BYU saying they haven't done as well on the road as they have at home. Well, I mean, can that be said about a lot of teams? Probably. But
Mhm.
they were saying that they have been getting near wins on the road. I was like, well, I don't know.
Iowa
Iowa
State, they
State
won
is
by two.
probably, yeah.
And that was a
So,
big comeback. You get
yeah,
points for comebacks. Yeah.
our Heisman moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think they can do it, but similar to you, I think the only reason I'm feeling a little bit confident, which always makes any sort of a fan. It's funny, I keep seeing this whole thing with like battered Aggie syndrome, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
it's battered BYU syndrome. Like I don't
It
know, it's just like
is.
I was like, it's too
Yeah.
painful to actually have hope. It's the hope that kills you. But but they played a really complete game last week.
Yeah.
So like you said, if they can show up, then I think they take it.
I
But
did.
Cincinnati, it's like this is their prove it game. This is all they have
They
left.
need it. Yeah.
This is all they have left.
If they don't,
Mhm.
this is desperate. Like if they don't win this, they're out of the Big 12 title hunt, CFP,
Nothing. Like, yeah,
everything. That
nothing.
it's
Yeah.
done. But I was listening to someone and they're like, Cincinnati's scheduled to begin, and similar to BYU, it kind of ramped up. Like they didn't
As
really
the
have
yeah.
tough schedule, but the minute they got to tough games, they lost.
hmm
Whereas with BYU, except for the Texas Tech game, they
They showed up.
got to Utah, they
Mhm.
won. They got to the Iowa State. I know Iowa State's record's not great, but it was on the road. Iowa State's still a solid team,
hmm
but like BYU's been more showing up and winning those games than Cincinnati has. And
Yeah.
and anyway, so yeah, I listened to a couple people that are a little higher on BYU than even I am.
hmm
But yeah, if you get last week's BYU,
hmm
no problem. Like
Yeah, no
they
problem.
win.
Yeah.
But
So let's
we'll see.
hope they travel well. Travel well to
Let's
Ohio.
They say defense travels, so you need
Okay.
that defense.
We do
And
need the
then
defense.
I last week on the broadcast, I actually listened to the broadcast. They were talking about how the week after the Texas Tech loss, Bear Bachmeier was just they're like he was on another level in practice. Like since then, it was almost that wake up moment. Like I got to do
He
more.
needed that drive. Hmm.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
they're giving him more and more. And I even said this in the Texas Tech game. I was like, let him throw. Like it at
Yes.
this point, it's not going to hurt you more. Like they were almost scared to let him throw. It's like you got to let him loose. Like I
Yeah.
would almost at this point have him throw, and he did throw an interception and fumble, but he was trying too hard because they were coming from behind. They played too
Yeah.
conservative to begin with.
Right.
And I'm not saying they would have won the game, but they were way too conservative in that game. You got to,
They
you
were
do
just
got,
so confused.
you
Yeah.
just got to go. You got
Yeah.
to let it fly.
I
Uh,
agree. Utilize all the weapons you have. And I
yeah.
think it goes back to like, didn't he have a game? Which game was it that LJ Martin went out and all of a sudden he had to
Iowa
throw it
State,
and oh yeah. I was
and
saying,
he
I was like, and he did great.
and he let it come back. Yeah,
Yes. So yeah, I agree with you on that. 100%. All right, we've got
yeah.
Tennessee and Florida now. Um,
I feel like I don't know Tennessee. Like they're just kind of there. Like they're doing good, but
I feel like Tennessee had a bit of a gauntlet this year. Didn't they have to play Georgia and Alabama,
yeah, I'm looking right
and
now.
Vanderbilt? Like, aren't those? I think those are their three
They lost to
losses.
Georgia, lost to Alabama, and lost to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma,
Um,
which they're all in the top 10. I
if
mean,
you
okay.
if you look at their schedule though, those are their only three hard games, and they've lost all of them. So they don't have a signature win
I thought they played
outside of that.
Vandy. No?
No, they haven't played
Okay.
Vandy. It was
Okay.
Mississippi State, Arkansas, Kentucky, and
Okay.
they handled New Mexico State last
Okay.
week.
Well, good for them.
They play Vandy the last game of the year.
Yeah.
So
This could,
that'll be their signature
yeah.
win.
This could be an upset because I feel like Florida's record is a little rough, obviously.
Yeah,
But watching them play, it's they still have talent and skill players.
yeah,
I think it's just their coaching, but it's kind of like I've seen them multiple times make it hard for the teams that beat them.
yeah.
So I mean, Florida beat Texas, I think.
They beat
So
Texas, and
that's it.
yeah, that
That's
is
all.
it.
Yeah.
They lost to everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mississippi State, they won, and they lost to Kentucky. They got killed by Kentucky,
Oosh.
38-7.
All
So
right.
it's like this is
Well,
the thing where when people are like Texas, it's just like you lost to Florida. It's like, well, it's Florida. It's like go look at Florida's
yeah.
record and try to
See,
defend it.
how proud can you
Like
be?
it's not anyway.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. Maybe Florida comes in like you can't take them lightly. It's
Do you,
it's like a lot of things we say about the Big 12. Like
yeah.
you can't sleep on anyone
Mm-mm.
or they'll beat you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think they're ready I mean, this could be their final statement when to be like, we're not terrible. It's
Right?
like,
They're
well,
they're
okay.
not going to a bowl game. Like
No, no,
they
they're
got three
not.
wins, even with two losses, two more wins, they're
Yeah.
still not going to a bowl game. So
And
this is
Tennessee's
it.
not really in the hunt. At 20, you're probably not going to go.
Yeah.
And a win over Florida is not going to take you there.
It's not going to
So,
move the
yeah.
needle. Yeah.
So, I don't know who they have at their last game. Who's Tennessee playing at the end of the game?
Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Vanderbilt would help move it a little bit.
It depends on how
Um,
bad they beat them, but yeah,
yeah.
it could. All right, and then the last we have, oh no, we
Well, we
have
got two.
two more,
Missouri.
Missouri
Yeah.
State and Kennesaw State. All right, Kennesaw State again. All
They
right.
were, yeah.
Did
I don't know.
they won last week, but did they not?
No, they lost to Jacksonville State
Oh,
last
no,
week.
boo. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Missouri State because I lived in Missouri.
There you
They're
go.
both they're both 5-1 in conference. So, but
Okay.
I'm not keeping them at 9. That's for sure.
No, if you're going to go against that, put them lower. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, Kennesaw State keeps getting kind of the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I really don't like them that high. I mean, I
Yeah,
would I would feel way more comfortable switching out Southern Miss and South Alabama for
yeah.
that. I think
See
that's
that.
probably a good move. Um, so I'd probably take Kennesaw just because I mean, I didn't live in Missouri, so I did visit you, so
That's
I've
right.
seen the arch. But I don't know any better, so I mean, also I chose them last week and they didn't win, so that wasn't
Yeah,
great.
there
But
you go.
yeah, so I don't know. Um, so yeah, I think I'd probably pick them, but I would put them way lower, probably at 3.
Yeah.
Um, and then we've got our USC Oregon game, our
Jeez.
Pac-12 t former teams
Yeah, this
trying.
is a
This is the one that so
interesting game.
yeah, this is the one I was telling you about. I heard somebody say that there is a legitimate path for USC if they beat Oregon. Um, saying that Oregon's not going to go out if they went out of the top 10, it'd only be to 11, and then USC would be like a 9. And I was like, all right, so now it's getting too crowded with the Big
Hmm.
10. So I don't want USC to win. I think they could, but I also think this is at Oregon. I mean, it would take a lot, I think, for USC to come in and beat them. I think
Yeah.
they'll show up, but but this is also Oregon's statement piece too of just being like, see, we're good. And this is their only chance. I mean, what else, who else have they played? Not many
Well,
people.
they played number 3 Penn State at the time and squeaked by. Uh, they
Weeks.
lost to Indiana, and that was a pretty like they lost. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't a blow up, but it wasn't close. And they squeaked by Iowa. Right now,
That's right. I remember that.
Iowa's their best win right
Yeah,
now.
I'd say so. And Iowa and USC, I feel like out of those two, I'd probably choose USC. Didn't USC beat Iowa last
Let
week,
me.
right? No.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we needed Iowa to beat USC. That would have been ideal. Iowa beats
Yeah.
USC, then USC goes and beats Oregon, and then
Hmm.
so yeah, I get your point. Like if Oregon wins, like if Oregon loses, they're not gonna like it's just
Then
harder for a
there'll be
Big
the
12 team to get
Alabama
in.
that will push us down. Yeah.
But if USC loses, at least it clears them away
Yeah.
from the pack.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
if it's anyway, so we'll see. A lot of if scenarios, but
Yeah. I do
it's
think
yeah, like
Oregon's
you said,
probably going to win. Yeah. Yeah.
and it's at Oregon,
Yep.
so I mean they should, right? They're the
They
number
should.
7 team in the nation and just so good. Like
Yeah.
they've proven it all year long.
I
Not
know.
really, but
Is USC really 15 now? I'm doubting all of these numbers here, but
USC is 15.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a top playoff game. I mean, it would be a big one for USC if they won. So I'm sure they'll be motivated because they're not going to the conference championship. So this is kind of their conference championship. This is it for them. Um, so I don't know. I think this is, if I were to call the game of the week, I think this is the game of the week right here.
Yeah, I
It's a
agree with
close
you.
second to BYU, but yeah, game of the week.
And yeah, we have cheering interest there. What's the upset? What's your upset of the week?
Whew. Well,
I'm looking
I
to.
think, hmm, I was gonna say Florida. I
Why
love,
not?
and I love Tennessee. I actually really do love Tennessee, but I was like, I could see it, and
Yeah,
that would surprise a lot of people.
I'm gonna go Missouri State
There you
is
go.
my upset of the week.
Awesome. Well, good. I guess it'll be an interesting Saturday. So,
Yep, can't
awesome.
wait. All right,
I'll talk
see
to you
you,
later.
see you
Bye.
later. Bye.